Hello guys, a short video today on how to choose a good training knife. Well, to answer these questions it basically depends on how you're going to use your training knife. No? But regardless if you're going to use your training knife as a tool to learn and to train how to defend from a knife attack, you can also be training on how to use your knife as an attack or an offensive weapon. So it depends on if you are a civilian and you are training, let's say, traditional martial arts where the focus is on how to defend from a knife, or you belong to a special unit, either in law enforcement or the military, where you are also trained how to use your knife as an offensive weapon. We can start with two basic criteria. One is that your knife has to be safe. No, that means it's blunt and not pointy, that it's not going to hurt you. Otherwise, you're just better off just using your real knife for training. Huh? So if it's safe and it's also sturdy, that means that it's not going to break and it's going to give you many years of service, many years of use. Then that meets the first criteria, which is very good. Then the second criteria is that your knife has to look real. No? That means that the appearance of the knife has to be realistic. Knives that are, for example, rubbery, very soft, and they are like a fancy shape, they're not good, because then they're not going to offer you any feedback. One of the things that we're going to train with the knife is not only your body, the physical part of working against a knife or working with a knife. You want to train also your psychological aspect, which is the appearance of the knife have to look real, so your mind can understand when it recognizes a knife that is a real threat. Okay, so if your knife is, for example, like this one, which is a traditional martial arts training knife, a tanto, that is made of timber, painted in black, so over the years also have to lose the black color. But it is clearly not a real knife. So you're training with this knife, you straight away will recognize that it's not a real knife, so it doesn't represent a threat to you. So we want to train also the psychological aspect. This is good for beginners though. Okay? So that's the timber ones, and then we got the synthetic material ones. Those ones are a bit more realistic and are black. Now, so we got, for example, this one is made by Color Steel. It's a replica of the Recon Tanto, and it's completely black. Modern combat knife tend to be black, and the reason why they do that is because the paint that they use offers some rust resistance, especially if the knife is made out of carbon steel. The other reason is to reduce visibility. So when they use this knife during the night, that is not going to reflect the light. So using a training knife that is black, well, it makes you a little more realistic aspect of your training. So we got then the plastic one, and then we got as well the metal ones. Now the metal ones, we got that category. This one, for example, which is from Emerson. This is a replica of their actual real knife, which is this one here. Is the Emerson CQC6 combat knife. So this is the trainer for this one. These are great tools because you can actually be training with a knife that is identical to the real deal. So this is my everyday carry, so I love training with that trainer. They are color coded, so you can get it wrong. This one is blue, this one is black, this one has hollows on the blade, this one is completely filled. So you got the real one and you got the training one. Okay, those are steel training knives. Okay, and so as we said, you want to train with something as real as possible. Here I got, for example, one that I made myself out of an old kitchen knife. Most of real events that happen that you see on the news when someone is being attacked with a knife, it tend to be a large percent that attack has happened with a kitchen knife, or everyday ordinary kitchen knife. So training with a kitchen knife is fantastic. This one I just from the tip, no tip, no edge, so it doesn't cut. But the good thing about a steel training knife is that it gives you that realistic feeling of the steel. Now when it makes contact with your skin, you can actually feel the cold of the metal. and that is good for your psychological component, since it's wired on the humans since the Bronze Age, when we have been using metals for both for tools and also for weapons. We recognize when a metal tool is placed against our body. So we got a training kitchen knife, or you can see I got a real functioning kitchen knife here. It's very similar to the training one. Okay, and we got, for example, training karambit. Okay, this is a replica, training replica of the Fox karambit. I don't own a real Fox karambit, but I do own the Emerson one. So it looks. I'm not a big fan of karambit, but since they are very popular, then you have to train with this. Or you ever be you have to deal with someone that is carrying a karambit, then you know how you're dealing with. So you got the training karambit that comes also with the wave feature here to deploy. So it's similar to that of the Emerson. This one is a real one. This one is a trainer. Okay, we got the training karambit for the cold steel karambit, and we got the real karambit from cold steel. So you see, it's a exact replica of the original one. So you can train confidently with your training karambit, and then, well, be able to confidently use or deal with the real karambit from cold steel. You got the trainer for the Ka-Bar. This one is cold steel. They have a very similar knife. I think they call it the Leatherman, or the Leatherneck, sorry, Leatherneck. And we got here the real Ka-Bar, which you can see that is needed thumb deployment. Sorry, I did release the lock on the sheet. The Ka-Bar and the training for it, so you can see the trainer is very similar to the real one. So when you're training with your cold steel trainer knife, it's very similar to that of the real Ka-Bar. Go here, the real Riccon Tanto, and this one is a trainer for it. So you can see now it's very similar to the real one. And last but not least, we got the training knife from Systema. Okay? This is actually my favorite training knife, not only because it looks realistic. The blade has been painted in silver to make it a similarity to that of steel. The handle is black, but the size, the weight, the shape makes it look and feel very realistic. No, it's strong. I think it has a metal component inside, so adds a little bit of weight on it, so it gives you that realistic feeling in the weight, not only in the shape. And it's similar to a real knife. In this case would be the SOG. This one is the SOG Seal Puck, which is slightly smaller. The SOG Seal Elite, or Seal 2000, I think it was the old model, which is slightly bigger, so it will be more similar to the size of the Systema training knife, but the shape is extremely similar. So yeah, so I also added a sheet to the Systema training knife. It doesn't come with it. I think that you can buy it on the Systema website and get it delivered. I got it many years ago in one of the seminars or camps that I attended. But it's good to have a sheet, because when you are training with your knife, not only from the defensive point of view, but also from the offensive point of view, you want to practice also the deployment of the knives, how you unsheath the knife. So having a sheet for it is fantastic. You can put it in your belt, attach it to any part of your training gear, and then unsheath it and then work with it. Okay. So to sum up, then we got the two criteria. Now, it have to be safe, so it's not gonna cut you or poke you. It has to be sturdy, has to be strong, so it can give you many years of service like this one has, and has to be realistic. So you have a knife that that it looks like the real deal, training knife looks like the real deal, then it will be a good knife for training also not only your body part but also your psyche. Okay, so if you want to train as a offensive way of using knives, or as a defensive way of using knife, how to defend from the knife, and either way the criteria has to be the same, you know? Sturdy, safe, and realistic looking. All right. So we're working on another series of videos that is focused on the differences between Systema and traditional martial arts. There's not many videos out there on this topic, so we're going to be discussing on that area and putting some examples how traditional martial arts have approached to certain situations and how Systema approaches the similar situation, and the difference between the physical component and also the psychological component in the training, and the difference in how the skills are applied, you know, from the physical level and the psychological level. So stay tuned for our next videos or our next series on the differences between Systema and traditional martial arts, and I will see you soon. See you guys. Thank you.